Have you ever felt excited about your goal? Then immediately or after a while, you start to feel guilty for wanting that goal. Now, have you ever told yourself as a mom or as an individual, I'm going to focus on my dreams? Then later on, you start to second guess yourself. You start to ask yourself, am I sure I should focus on this at this season of my life? Today we are going to learn how we can prioritize our goals without us feeling guilty, because most times we feel guilty as moms. You feel guilty for wanting to achieve something. You feel guilty for wanting more. So today we are going to learn how to prioritize our goals. Now, what if prioritizing your goal is not you being selfish? But it is necessary for you as an individual. It is necessary for you as a mom to prioritize your goals. So what is the meaning of we prioritizing our goals? To prioritize your goal means to intentionally choose what matters most to you in the season where you are. To prioritize your goals means to intentionally choose that which matters to you in the season where you are and give it your focus time. You give it your undivided time. You give it your undivided energy, and you give it your full commitment. That is what it means for us, for you to prioritize your goal. When you don't feel guilty about your goal, when you don't have to apologize about your goal. So prioritizing your goal as a mom is not about you neglecting others. As a matter of fact, it's about you stewarding your life very well. So when you prioritize, it doesn't mean you're neglecting other people. It just means that you're taking your life seriously. You're stewarding your life. You're doing what you want to do, the right thing you need to do in the season where you find yourself. So let's talk about some of the hindrances. Why do we struggle? Why do we as moms struggle to prioritize our goals? Why do we feel guilty when we set our goals? Why do we feel like, oh, I'm not worthy? This goal, should I set it or I shouldn't set it? Number one, most of us are guilty. You just have this mom guilt and you constantly feel self-neglected. You know, most of us means that as a mom, most of us think that as a mom, your job or your role is to sacrifice everything. But that is not true. You need to become. Most of us think that our needs or our wants should come last before every or after every other person. But your needs and your wants are also important. The truth is that guilt makes goal setting feel wrong. When you feel guilty about yourself, when you feel unworthy, when you feel like, oh, you just neglect yourself, you think of every other person without you, the truth is that it sabotages you. It makes you start to look at goal as something that is wrong. But today, as a mom, you must learn to be confident in who you are, because God has created you whole. God said you are a masterpiece. You are worthy. You are enough. You are a God. That is what God said in the Bible. So we must step away from feeling guilty. Another reason why we sabotage or why we fail to prioritize our goals is because we are scared of being judged. Most of us have this label somewhere in our head. Oh, I don't want to feel selfish for setting this goal. I don't want to feel too ambitious. Let me just be comfortable here as a mom with my usual routine. I don't want to feel like, I'm doing too much. The truth is that you must step away from that place of you seeing yourself like you're going to be judged. Fear of opinions keep your goal hidden. When you're scared of the opinion of people, or you don't know what the next person is going to say about your goal, you don't know how they are going to take it, it keeps your goals hidden. It makes your goals not to be seen. So you want to tell yourself you are going to be seen. Even the Bible says you are a light. Let your light so shine for the world to see. You need to be seen. You are a city set upon the hill. You no longer need to hide your light under the bushel. You need to be seen. And one way you can be seen is to step away from considering the opinions of people before prioritizing your goals. Because when you do consider the opinions of people, it keeps your goal hidden. So tell yourself, I understand who I am as a woman, as a mom. I am confident in my skin, and I'm going to let my light so shine for the world, for men, for everyone around me to see my light shine. Another reason why we don't prioritize our goals as moms is because of overwhelm and mental load. Most of us are overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities. Everything just feels so urgent. But the truth is that nothing feels focused. When you feel like everything is urgent, you need to do everything. Sometimes you don't even feel focused. Sometimes you don't feel like you're doing a lot. But today we must learn to prioritize what truly matters. The truth is that it's not everything that matters as a priority now in this season. That is why we find ourselves overwhelmed. We have mental load, but we must learn to prioritize what truly matters. When we do, we will step away from that place where we are constantly overwhelmed or having mental load. Then the other reason why we fail to prioritize is lack of clear vision. Most of us do not have a clear vision of where we are going to. Most of us don't even understand. We don't know where we are going to. We are just following the wind, following the bandwagon. But today you must sit down and tell yourself you want a clear vision for your life. And we've done one video about vision. So you can go to our YouTube channel at the Confident Mom Academy and search for that video and watch it, how to set a clear vision for yourself. Because without clarity, goals feels random. When you're not clear on where you're going to, your goal begins to feel random. It feels like the goal of every other person. It feels like what every other person is doing. So you must be clear on where you are going to, because guilt grows stronger without clarity. When you're not clear, that is when you start to feel guilty. But when you're clear, you're confident, you know where you're headed to. You don't need to feel guilty because of what the next person is doing. You don't need to feel guilty because of what you're seeing out there, because you have a clear vision of where you're going to. Clarity removes emotional conflict. When you're clear of where you're going to, when you're clear on the path you are going to, it removes conflict from you. It makes you to understand who you are. You are not competing with the next person. So today, you want to tell yourself, I'm going to sit down and draft out a clear vision for my life, for my family, for every aspect or every area of your life that is important. Another reason why we don't prioritize is because we have identity conflicts. Most of us have lost ourselves in motherhood. It is very common because when you hear the conversations we say, the comments we say, the things we say about ourselves, we no longer see ourselves the way God sees us. But today, you must remind yourself of who you are. You are someone. You are a God. Even before you became a mom, there is something on the inside of you. So don't cover up your identity, because your identity has already been there. It has been formed even before you were born. The Bible says in Psalm 139, while we were in our mother's womb, while we knew nothing, God had already planned about us. He had counted everything. He knew your race. He knew your complexion. He knew how long you were going to stay. He had already formed you. The Bible says you are a God. We are gods. We are God's masterpiece. That is our identity. You are whole. You are enough. You are worthy. You are loved. Even if you don't feel it, even if no one has told you, that is who you are. Your identity is already embedded on the inside of you. You don't need to do something extra. You don't need to go to the shop to buy your identity. So you must be comfortable of who you are. When you understand your identity, it takes you away from the place of you seeing, not prioritizing your goal. You begin to prioritize what is important to you in that season of life. Even the Bible says you are God's workmanship. You are created for good works. We are created for good works. We are God's masterpieces. We are created for good works. The truth is that if you don't know who you are, prioritizing will feel confusing. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you who you're not. If you don't know who you are, it will be difficult for you to even prioritize. It will be difficult for you to set goals. It will be difficult for you to focus. So you must learn. You must rediscover. You must go on a search of understanding your identity. When you do that, it's going to change a whole lot for you. In practical ways, how can we begin to prioritize our goals as moms without us feeling guilty? Number one, you must redefine guilt. What is guilt to you? You must redefine what guilt is to you through truth. So tell yourself, guilt is going to mean like I am growing. Whenever I feel guilty, I will tell myself, I will pat myself on the back and tell myself I am growing. Whenever I'm feeling guilty, I will tell myself, I am changing the patterns that will make me. I am changing the patterns that will help me become. Because the truth is that growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels right. Sometimes when you're doing something, you just feel sometimes you don't even have the feeling. You don't even want to do it. Sometimes it just feels like, is this right? Is this not right? But the truth is that you must redefine what growth is for you. You must redefine what guilt is for you. If you have an experience, a situation that is making you feel shy, feel guilty, tell yourself you are growing. Tell yourself you are changing the patterns that will help to make you. Tell yourself you are becoming. So the whole idea is to redefine what we say to ourselves. The whole idea is to redefine the way we communicate with ourselves. The whole idea is to redefine what we say, the perspective we have about a situation. So when people are looking at something from a negative light, you choose to look at it from a positive light. When people are addressing a situation just on the basis, you tend to look at it in layers and ask yourself, what is this thing here to teach me? So as a mom, redefine guilt, redefine growth, and tell yourself, I am going to grow, I am going to become, even when I make mistakes. All of them, my mistakes, my failures, they are all ladders for me to get to where I am going to. Another way you can prioritize your goal is to clarify your season. Ask yourself as a mom, what season am I in this part? This as I am, what is that season I am currently in? The truth is that we all have different seasons. Some of you might be season of you working. Some moms are in the season of staying at home, probably to look after their babies. Some moms are in the season of having toddlers. Some moms are in the season of expecting. Some moms are in the season of raising adult children. Some are in the season of raising younger children. So you must ask yourself, what season of life am I in? Then ask yourself, what does this season require of me? When you understand what your season requires of you, you don't compare your season with your neighbors. You don't compare your season with the next person. You don't compare your process with the next person, because you have an understanding of the season where you are. Then you ask yourself, what can I do in this season to make me a better person? What can I do in this season to make me become, to build capacity? Because even God works in season. God is not going to prioritize what you don't prioritize. You must first of all come to the understanding of your season. Prioritize your season and carrying out those actions you need to put in place for you to grow, for you to achieve your goals in that season you are in. Even the Bible says, to everything there is a season. So understand your season and understand what you need to do in that season to become a better version of yourself. Another way we can prioritize our goals is to set clear and achievable goals. Not feeling guilty about your goal, just ask yourself, using a simple framework, what is one goal I can set in this season where I find myself? Break down your goal into small steps, small baby steps that will help you achieve your goals. Then you can now attach daily routines that could maybe keep you accountable, that could keep you in place to help you or remind you of your goals. The truth is that when your goals are simple, they reduce you feeling guilty, and it even increase consistency. So you want to break down that goal. Don't make it so vague. Don't make it so broad. Make it simple. Make it a goal that aligns with your current season of life. Another way we can prioritize our goal is to align our goals with our values. So your goal must align with your values. What are your values as a person, as a mom? What are your values as a family? What are your values as an individual? Your goal must align with your values. It must align with your faith. It must align with your family. It must align with your purpose. The truth is that when your goal aligns with your faith, your family, or your purpose, it takes away guilt, because you have an understanding of the connection of this goal to the areas that are so important and relevant to you in the season where you were in. Then the other way we can prioritize our goal is to model healthy priorities. The truth is that our children are watching. Your child is watching. So you must learn to prioritize. What is that thing that is important to you? We go back to season again. In this season where you are, your child, our children learn by watching. They learn how you set boundaries. They learn how you show respect for yourself and every other people. They learn how you show essentialism in everything you do. So you must model healthy priorities. When you prioritize, it teaches wholeness. When you prioritize, it promotes wholeness. It makes your child understand that there is something about wholeness. There is something beautiful about prioritizing in the season where you find yourself. So model healthy priorities for yourself and for your children. Then the last way we can prioritize our goals to follow through, not to feel guilty, is to replace self-criticism with grace. Learn to show grace to yourself. Learn to show compassion to yourself. Learn to show empathy to yourself. Tell yourself you are growing. Tell yourself you are allowed to make mistakes, but you're not going to remain there. You're going to learn from the mistake. Tell yourself you are allowed to take up spaces. God has called us to take up spaces, and we can achieve that by being compassionate, by showing empathy to ourselves. Grace is what is going to fuel you to follow through. So are you gracious to yourself? Are you compassionate to yourself? Are you empathetic to yourself? That is what you are called to do, because when you show grace, empathy, compassion, it fuels you through to continue with your goal. So the whole idea is for us as moms to step away from a place of feeling guilty to the place where we extend grace to ourselves. The whole idea is for you not to be overwhelmed, but to have clarity of vision, clarity of where you are going to. The whole idea is not for you to feel neglected, not to neglect yourself. No. The whole idea is for you to steward your life, to steward where you're going to. The idea is for you not to have your efforts scattered all over the place. You're unfocused, not focused on anything. But the idea is for us to have a growth that is focused. Focus on your growth. Focus on your lane. Focus on where you are going. Focus on you growing and becoming a better version of yourself. Now, you don't have to choose between being a good mom and becoming the woman God called you to be. The truth is that you need to empower yourself to be that woman that God has called you to be. Because when you become, your children become. When you become, your husband become. When you become, everyone around you become. So focus on building capacity. Focus on empowering yourself. Focus on prioritizing your goals without you feeling guilty. Focus on prioritizing what matters to you in this season of life. That is the message. That is the call. Now, I want to invite you to the Confident Mom Academy, where you're going to learn a lot that is going to help you build your confidence, rediscover your identity, that is going to remind you of who you are, that is going to take you away from that place where you feel neglected, you're doubting yourself, but we're going to help you to begin to thrive in life beyond motherhood. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the Confident Mom Academy. We have a YouTube channel called the Confident Mom Academy, where you're going to get lots and lots of videos that is going to transform your mindset for the better, that is going to help you to begin to rediscover who God has made you to be, the masterpiece that God has made you to be. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to like this video. Please share this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is Chioma Odikolo. I really do appreciate your time. Until I come your way next time, do have a great day and bye.